Hey guys, this is Jen from JKatsKreations, and today I'm pretty excited to show you the new petal style that I've recently made. If you've seen the fall colored wreath that I had on either my Facebook page or some of the wreath groups, today I'm going to be making a different color and showing you guys how I make this new petal. Also, if you saw any of it on Facebook, you do know that my husband is the one that actually came up with this new design for me, so once again I will give him credit for that. So like I said, I'm just going to get right into showing you guys how to make this new wreath. To start off, I will be using a 10-inch box wire frame, as I always do for all of my flower wreaths. There we go. So you're going to need one of these. You will definitely need a lot of pipe cleaners. Let's see, Rotary Cutter and a mat. This is, in a lot of ways, it is similar to my daisy petal. You know, some ways it is, some ways it isn't. Basically, you're looking at another one that doesn't have any fray because of the way it's folded, and we will be cutting tails again. So you will definitely need a good pair of scissors for that. For this one, since making this petal it's a little awkward, I guess we'll say it best, I would definitely recommend some kind of a clip. Whether, you know, it's one of these little ones, even if it's like a chip clip, a hair clip, you know, a paper clip, I don't know, something. You need some kind of a clip, you know, to pretty much hold one piece while you make the other one. So anything that's clippy, get one of those. We will be needing a little piece of the plastic canvas for the center. As I always say, if you've only got the one frame you're working with, do this first, so it's a lot easier to get that cut out. Also, just wanted to let you guys know, the other day I was actually, I had more frames, but I was too lazy to get up and go get them. So I just took, it's just like a regular 2.5-inch wide ribbon by 50 yard roll. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger, and I use that. It's slightly bigger than the middle, you know, it's almost to the second ring, kind of like in between the two. And I actually just use that in a pinch to trace out the circle I needed on the plastic grid, and it worked just fine. So if for some reason you use your frame first and you know, you still need to cut your circle, you could definitely do that and it works just fine. And then also some zip ties, or if you want to use pipe cleaners when you get to the point of attaching the plastic grid, whatever you like, doesn't matter. So let's see, the colors I will be using for this one. I had made mention in some of the groups that, you know, I thought I had to get the colors, but I was actually lucky and was able to kind of piece them all together enough to make this wreath. Now, originally I had said the colors I made the fall was not what my husband, you know, thought about when he thought of it. So his original idea was black and white petals. So I was thinking of kind of which direction I wanted to go with that. So this could actually be kind of like a Christmas theme, I think, because I ended up going with burgundy that I will be using for the center petals. This is what one of them looks like when it's all done. I knew I was tight on the burgundy color, which is why I wasn't sure. So I actually ended up using foil burgundy for the outside, and then it's just the regular no foil on the inside. Because I learned, you know, with the first one that you don't really see like the inside of the middle petals very well. So I really don't think it's going to make a huge difference that the middles of those aren't foil. We'll see, you know, I mean, it's the same color, so it should be fine. If I had enough of the foil burgundy, I would have just doubled it up. And then also I will be using, this is, I think it's like an apple lime moss green foil. I think that's what this one is called. This is going to be for the green leaves on the outside. So with this one, I decided to do a ruffle on the outside for two reasons. One, I wanted it to look different from the daisy petal. And 2, I wanted to pretty much not try to have as much work involved in this one. It still is a lot of work. From my kind of estimate of the time I put into this, you're probably going to be looking at close to 6 hours for this from start to finish, from starting to cut your mesh to finishing it up. Now, it's only the second one I've made, you know, and I'm at about 6 hours, so, you know, it make it a little bit faster, but overall it is, unfortunately, I guess, for some people, another kind of involved one. I know some people really like a longer project, and some people don't. So I, you know, kind of thought, you know, even if you just kind of wanted to watch this to find out how to make the petals, and even if you just wanted to use them for like the center of a wreath, you know, you don't want to make the whole wreath, you don't want to get all into that, but even just to learn how to make them for the center of, you know, one of your flower wreaths, you know, that works too. So alright, so for the ruffles on the outside, I did 10 pieces of 10 by 20 inch cuts. So for the outside ruffles, leaves, whatever you want to call them, I would recommend getting 10-inch mesh, even though, you know, when you're ruffling it, you don't have a whole lot of fray. But, you know, if you're trying to cut something larger down, you're definitely going to have even more. So for the leaves, I would recommend 10 by 10 roll. You will need 10 pieces, cut 10 by 20 inches. So I'm just going to show you guys quick how I put these on. I'll do a couple just to give you an idea. Get the actually, I'm like surrounded by these petals right now, and I really don't have like a ton of room. So all I do, and this is basically like a take from my ruffle flower tutorial that I just did not too long ago. So you're just going to be putting them, you know, I go around 2 bars, so you don't have to worry about them flopping around. And just like any basic ruffle, you're just going to scrunch it up. Into the bow tie. So you guys can see that. And then I scrunch them up that way. And then just tie it together there on the back. And like I said, you know, you won't have any kind of a floppy issue going on there. So since it's 10 of these, you have 5 crossbars on the 10-inch frame. So I'm going to be doing 1 on every crossbar and 1 in between for the total of 10. So I'll do another quick one just to show you guys. And just scrunch it up. It's super easy. And get your bow tie. And then what I do with the ruffles is I kind of have them pushing up against each other. That's why I scrunch them up. Kind of give it a nice full look when it goes all the way around. So I'm going to finish up. I've got 8 more, so I'm going to cut away and finish those up, and then we'll get started on the petals. Okay, so I have all of the green ruffles on. Like I said, it is 10 pieces, and just to show you quick, that's what it looks like all the way around. So we do have 3 bars left that we will be filling each one with the petals. So at this point I'm going to show you guys how I make them. Let me get this out of the way real quick. Now I know because I have the dark matte and I am using black as one of the colors, so I'm just going to throw this piece of paper down real quick because I think it'd be a little bit easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. So on this one, the 3 rings that we're going to be doing, it was a total of 53 petals, but it is you know, double because it is 2 pieces of mesh. So you will need 106 pieces for that part of it. Once again, like with the daisy petal, I would recommend getting the 21-inch rolls of mesh and cutting them down. It's a little more, you know, economical, and you know, just saves you a couple bucks on, you know, the project as a whole. You'll have some left over, so you know, you could probably find a use for it for something else. And the middle of this one will be it was 12 additional petals, which is actually 24 more pieces of mesh, you know, for whatever color you guys want to use for yours. I just went with the burgundy for this one. So for that, you know, you could get another, you know, 21-inch roll or 10-inch, you know, it's up to you guys, depends on, you know, what you think you could do with the leftovers. So I'm going to start showing you how to do this. Now I figured out the best way to make this is to do the inside color first, make that one first. So like on this, you know, the white is the inside color. So what we're going to do is fold it into a triangle. So it sort of starts off like the daisy petal, and that's pretty much it. But this point now, we're going to fold up to the edge of the top. You don't want to go over, you go a little bit before, and I kind of squished it together a little bit here just to make it tight. And then I take it and I fold it over one more time, so you have both sides are joined together. It's kind of a nice clean edge. And then I wrap it around my finger like that. And I just try to kind of make it, you know, tight and get it all together. So it's pretty much like a loop. So this is the one, like I said, the inside one. Make this one first. This is where your clip comes in handy. So clip it together. You can put that aside. And now the black, which is my outside one, we're going to fold the same way. So you're going to fold it down and make a triangle. And once again, fold it up to where it's just at the edge. I don't know if I could get it to show. You see the point goes just to the edge. Don't go over or else it'll stick out the back of it. And I kind of squish it a little bit, fold it over again, so you just kind of have a strip. And the same thing where I fold it over my finger and make a loop. So it's basically 2 loops. You know, one's going one way, one's going the other way. So I actually think I might name this one a daisy chain, because that was kind of the first thing that popped into my head, that you know, like the paper chains that you would make at Christmas time to put on the tree. Kind of like, you know, if you were to keep going with that, it's sort of what I came up with. I don't know. It's better than nothing. My husband wanted to name it Wreath Inception, which makes no sense. And I give him all the credit in the world for like coming up with this. but I am not naming it Wreath Inception. So we're totally going to go with daisy chain. I think it sounds a lot nicer. So I unclipped this white piece. I put it in my fingers back here. Now this is where it gets a little awkward until you kind of get used to what you're doing. And then I come around, and then you're wrapping it over the top so that the white petal is facing out and the black petal goes over it. So at this point I usually kind of put them down like I am right now, so I can kind of squish it together and get it where I want it. Since I'm at my mat, you know, I will just sit here and kind of quick measure where my thumb is to the end. So like 3.5 inches, because where my fingers are is where I'm going to put the pipe cleaner. So it's pretty much the same size as the daisy petal, but for some reason I think, you know, it's the two pieces. It gives it a little more bulk, so you don't have to make as many petals. And then I just do the pipe cleaner on it. And like I said, unfortunately we will be cutting tails again. You know, since I just came up with this the other day, there might be a better way to do this. I just, you know, I haven't gotten there yet. If I do think of a better way, I'll let you guys know. And if one of you thinks of a better way, you let me know. So it's the same thing. I know a lot of people aren't really sure. Like I said, I always just kind of put my thumb over the pipe cleaner. And then, you know, pretty much where my thumb ends is where I cut to get that extra off. So that this little piece, you know, it's usually about 1/2 inch from the pipe cleaner to the end. So I'm going to show you another one. And like I said, it is a little awkward. You know, I spent a lot of time on the first one just trying to get like a, you know, smooth transition basically to making that. And then once I made a few of them, you know, it did kind of come together a little bit better. So, like I said, make a triangle. Fold it up. Fold over. And this part, like when I'm doing this and I kind of slide my finger down, I'm not gonna lie, like this part of my finger was so sore just from sliding it down, because mesh is rough. I mean, you guys know that. And so, I mean, it was kind of sore, you know, after doing that, you know, like 65 times, you know, whatever. More than that, actually, because I have to do it for both. And then, like that, just clip it, put it aside. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely for people that like, you know, a little bit longer of a project or the challenge, you know, whatever. Like, I totally understand that everything I make isn't necessarily to be like mass produced quickly. You know, sometimes just kind of the challenge of an idea and actually completing it. You know, I mean, honestly, this isn't a wreath I wouldn't want to have to make over and over and over consistently. But, you know, something is, you know, could be fun if you just, you know, looking at something to do, something different like that. Just try to keep the pieces together. Like I said, and then I tuck that one between these two fingers. And if, you know, if there's a different way that works for you guys to doing this, you know, whatever works for you, this is kind of what I came up with. And you just wrap it around like that. And, you know, if I am making these, I'm not sitting here at my table, like, I'll make one that I like the size of it just to use as my guide. And then, you know, if I'm sitting at, like, dining room table or something, and I just, you know, kind of put it up against my first one just to make sure that I'm on track with what I'm doing. So, that's it. So it's definitely got a little more dimension to it. I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm just going to start attaching a few. I think what I'm going to do, you know, I'll attach a few just to show you guys, and then I'll cut away, finish it off. I'll probably put it on the wall so you could see it, and then just kind of, you know, do another ring, come back to show you on the wall. You know, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me do this over and over again. So I think that would probably be the best way, since it is pretty tedious and just repetition at this point of attaching them. So on the first one I had made, on this third ring here, the second one in, or the third one, I had 21 petals. So I'm going to see if I end up with the same on this one. You know, you could have a few more, a few less, depending on the size of yours and how you put them on. You know, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to kind of just pick a place to start. Then you just attach it pretty much like a daisy petal. And then I just twist it tight on the back. So that's the first one. As you can see, that's why I cut the bottoms off for about a ½ an inch, because it keeps them in between the bars. So, you know, it's 5 rings, so it should be about, you know, 4 petals. As I said, I had 21, you know, so I may have 21 again, I may only have 20, you know, we'll see by the time I'm done. I was pretty much, you know, just kind of going along of doing, you know, 2 in between the green ruffles on the back on either side. So it would be, you know, 4. I don't know how I ended up with 21. We'll see on this one. So I'm going to finish this ring, and then when I come back I'll have it up on the wall so you guys could see, you know, what it's starting to look like and how we're shaping up. So I'll be back. Okay, so I now have the first row on. I did end up using 22 petals on this one. So it is one more than the last one. Like I said, sometimes you use a little more, a little less. So I just wanted to show you guys quick how that's coming out already. And so now what I'm going to do is move on to this ring, second one in, and I'm going to be putting petals all the way around on that one. So like I said, I'm not going to make you guys watch all this, so I'm just going to come back once that row is done so you guys can see how it's coming out. So I'll be back. Okay, I am back again. I now have the second layer on. This layer was actually 18 petals. On the first one I made, it was 19 petals on this ring, so even though, you know, I've got one more on the outer and one less on the inner, I'm still pretty much at the same number. So just wanted to let you guys know that. I will give you a grand total at the end just to, you know, let you know if it did take me a few more or a few less on this one. So, and I just wanted to point out, when I'm putting them on, I'm not necessarily always trying to land them in between. I'm more or less, I put them on and I want them like just touching each other. And I'm not really trying to squish them in. So I'm pretty much looking at more, you know, where the heads are lining up, more than, you know, where it's lining up with the petals behind it. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So when I'm putting them on, I'm not necessarily aiming always, you know, for in between two. You know, sometimes they're off a little bit. But, you know, if you want yours a little more squished together, you definitely could. If you want them a little more spread out, but, you know, pretty much the way I do it, it's just, you know, they're just pretty much touching. So I just put them on wherever they land on the frame to make that happen. So I will be going to the final inner ring now. So I'll get that done and then I'll be back. Okay, so I am now back one more time. I have the middle row all done. That did take 13 petals, which is what it took me originally as well. So even though I had one more on the outer layer and one less on the middle layer, I still ended up with the total of 53. So that was nice that it worked out, because I really didn't want to have to make any more petals. So that was really good. So I just want to show you guys, this is how it's looking. Here's a side view, you can see. So, you know, it definitely does have some dimension to it. I know people have said that they thought that it was more of a flat, and I know I've had to take side pictures to show that, you know, there is definitely some dimension to the wreath where it sticks out a bit. So I just wanted to show you guys. That is all 3 rows, and I timed it, and it took me about half hour to get all those petals on. So pretty much once you get through all the prep time, the actual attaching goes super, super fast. So if you guys just bear with me one second, I'm going to put you in the holder, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do the center. Try to get this where I had it. Sort of. Okay, should be pretty good. Okay. So how I figure out where I need to start the center layer of petals is I take the wreath and you know, I kind of match up the grid in the center there on the back, you know, where it would go. I flip it back over, and then you can kind of see in there, you know, you don't need to be worrying about having petals going all the way out to the edge, because these cover that. So, you know, I pretty much say, well, like, you know, right here would be good, because it's right up against these, you know, it's a little bit of space, not too much. So then I lift it up, switch fingers, and then I know that that should be my starting point for the center petals. So I just kind of put it there, and then I actually did the center exactly the same way as I did in my daisy petal. Just bear with me. As I said in that one, the worst part is just getting the pipe cleaner through the plastic grid. I just give it a twist there underneath. Like I said, you kind of, you know, it's not so tight that you can't move it a little bit. You know, you basically just kind of want it to stand up straight. And they're going to be a little floppy until, you know, we put it through the middle. And then all I do is just kind of line them up together going around. Like I said, you know, just like when I put them on, I just have them next to each other. Not super tight, not, you know, super loose, just kind of next to each other. And that's all I do. I just go around in a circle. On the first one I had 8 going around, and then I had 4 in the middle. So we'll see if that works out the same way. On this one I've had ones where, you know, it was 9 going around. Just to give you kind of a little quick idea, like I said, you know, the pipe cleaners let you move them around a little bit, so that's good. So I'm just going to continue on. I'll have to put 6 more, and then all I do is I just put 4 more in the middle. So I'm going to get this finished up, and then I'm going to show you putting it in the middle, and then we are done. So I'll be back. Okay, so I have all the petals in the center now. I did end up using 12 again, so that was good. So all the numbers I had said to begin with work out. You know, just, I don't expect you guys to remember everything I've said, so I'm definitely going to be putting all the information in the box below the video. You know, I'll tell you the petals and the placement and, you know, the how many different rolls of mesh, all that, you know, so you guys don't have to worry about trying to remember everything that I said. So just to show you what I do for the middle, I just always kind of overlap them so they kind of get that look. I always like that look personally. So like I said, they're all kind of floppy on here, and then I just try to get my hand around them as best as I can. Squish that up. And back of the wreath. I've already moved a lot of the piper cleaners out of the way. I'll just flip them up, get them out of the way. And now that I've got it all squished up, I just take it and push them all through the center. You know, I mean, these petals are pretty tough. You know, you could do this. You don't really have to worry about hurting anything, ruining anything. You know, it's a pretty compact wreath. You know, it's got good weight to it. So, you know, don't worry about doing this and thinking that you're going to hurt something or do something wrong. And then I'll go and I just smooth all the pipe cleaners back down. And as I've showed before, some of my other videos, at this point, if you just want to use pipe cleaners or zip ties, and, you know, I just zip tie this 4 spots around, you know, just to secure that in the center. I have showed in another video, I do always cover all the backs of my wreaths with just a piece of felt. You know, I trace it out the full 10-inch ring, and then I just attach those with zip ties. And, like, you know, at the top I'll put a little pipe cleaner loop to give the people something to hang it up with. So, flip it over, and you just kind of, you know, fix them up if you need to. They're all in good spots, good shape. I gotta say, I really like it with the burgundy in the center. This came out pretty much exactly the way I hoped it would, so that was really good. So that looks good. So I'm gonna pop it on the wall one last time. Oh, actually, before I wanted to make sure the finish size on this. It's about 20 inches finish size. Because of the ruffles, you know, they don't add a whole lot to around it. If you wanted to use, you know, once again in my daisy petal, I did use a longer, skinnier petal, and just trying to get this to stick on the wall here. And that added a lot more to it. Like, that finish size is around 26 inches. But I do like the, you know, this is a little bit smaller of a size. Okay, so let's see what you guys think. So that is the finished products. And I do really like how it came out with the red in the middle. I think that looks nice. So just a close-up of everything so you guys could see. Like I said, you don't really notice the insides of the middle ones too much. So since I had to use the non-foil burgundy, you know, I'm happy to say that, you know, you don't really notice it. It's not that big of a deal. And just kind of go sideways there for you guys. And that's it. That is the finished wreath. Like I said, it is, you know, probably about 6 hours. But, you know, you probably spend about at least 4.5 of that of just making petals, cutting, you know, all that. So, you know, once you get all that done, it all comes together pretty quick. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know. Let me know what you think of the color combo. I think it's pretty cool. And once again, I always appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.